live on air. Prominent feminist activist Naomi Wolf is the author of The Beauty Myth and has been an advisor in the past to Bill Clinton and Al Gore and celebrated by the liberal left worldwide. She's got a new book out. It's called Outrages, Sex, Censorship and the Criminalisation of Love. And her thesis relies, at least in part, apparently, on the fact that there were people executed in the UK for what were then crimes, such as homosexuality, much later than previously thought. Have a listen.
Mentioned of penal servitude for 10 or 15 years, and I found like several dozen executions, but that was again only looking at the Old Bailey records and the crime tables.
Several
regionally.
Dozen executions.
Correct. And this corrects a misapprehension that is in every website that the last man was executed for sodomy in Britain in 1835.
I don't think you're right about this. One of the cases that you look at that's salient in your report is that of Thomas Silver. It says teenagers were now convicted more often. Indeed, that year, which is 1859, 14-year-old Thomas Silver was actually executed for committing sodomy. The boy was indicted for an unnatural offence. Guilty, death recorded. This is the first time the phrase unnatural offence entered the Old Bailey records. Thomas Silver wasn't executed. Death recorded. I was really surprised by this, and I looked it up. Death recorded is what's in, I think, most of these cases that you've identified as executions. It doesn't mean that he was executed. It was a category that was created in 1823 that allowed judges to abstain from pronouncing a sentence of death on any capital convict whom they considered to be a fit subject for pardon. I don't think any of the executions you've identified here actually happened.
Well, that's a really important thing to investigate. What is your understanding of what death recorded means?
Death recorded, this is also from, I've just read you the definition of it there from the Old Bailey website. But I've got here a newspaper report about Thomas Silver and also something from the prison records that show the date of his discharge. The
prisoner was found guilty and sentence of death was recorded.
Yeah.
But the jury recommended the prisoner to mercy on account of his youth.
See, I think this is a kind of, when I found this, I didn't really know what to do with it because I think it's quite a big problem with your argument.
So there you are, the facts in a wolf's clothing. That's one way to generate publicity for your book. To be fair, Wolf appears to have taken it well, thanking Sweet for pointing out her error and promising to edit new editions of the book to make sure they are correct. But wow, that is a brutal fact check.
Thank you to each of the witnesses. Mr. Parker, I want to thank you again for sharing your story and your daughter's story. And I will say I very much agree with you that you ought to be able to sue the heck out of Google and YouTube.
Yep.
And if anybody else other than big tech did what they have done to you, if any other citizen delivered a VHS tape of the murder of your daughter to you and your neighbors, you would have a common law tort for intentional infliction of emotional distress, and you could recover very significant damages. There is one group in the United States that is allowed to do what it's doing to you, and that is big tech, because Congress has given them a special subsidy, an immunity from liability, so they don't bear the consequences of their actions.
That's some serious shit. We're whining like, but why did you give him more cereal than me? Look at how the cereal you gave him. I want more cereal. Now, that's when you've got 5-year-old twins like I do, you hear a lot of that kind of stuff. And that's why I have become less and less patient with feminists as a parent because I already have to deal with exactly this kind of whining in my house. I don't want to have to deal with it out in the world too, or when I go online. But it's the same kind of thing. It's just constant comparing. Oh, you gave him more than her. That's not fair. It's not fair. No, that guy had 14 minutes of dialogue and she only had 11. This isn't fair. Jeez. You whiny, insufferable. This is why people hate feminism. And I think it's important for feminists to realize. Now, I'm not saying that we hate you as a person. I'm saying feminism, the ism. You need to understand that this is why people hate it. I mean, people really hate feminism. And there's not a lot of in between. It's either you are a feminist yourself or you hate feminism. Almost nobody has an in-between view of it. And that's becoming more and more the case. Because it seems like your entire goal in life is just to find examples where you can make yourself the victim and then complain about it.
If we could stop for a second, I want to say to you, you have a very cute, soft, like a girly voice.
Thank you.
A lot of people say the reason people have girly voice is something bad happened to them at that age. Were you touched at an early age or were you fine?
That's the creepiest question I've ever heard, and no, but it's so inappropriate, it's not even funny.
Well, I had a girlfriend once that talked like that, and it turned out 6 years old. It was horrible.
Ew, I don't want to talk about this.
Okay, we don't have to talk about that, but I do want to talk. Can we talk about the fact?
Actor. In your film, she was in with Leonardo in Wolf of Wall Street. I, Tonya. This is a person with a great deal of acting talent, and yet you haven't really given her many lines in the movie. And I wondered, I guess that was a deliberate choice on your part, and I just wanted to know why that was, that we don't hear her actually speaking very much. And Margot, I wanted you to also comment about being in the film in this part.
Well, I just reject your hypotheses.
Right.
He's standing in front of the net with about 8 inches of his shaft in his hand.
These people have been told you could be as wild and crazy and out of control as you want. We're going to take care of you. We'll give you free stuff. We may even give you reparations. This is from CBS Philly. Philadelphia police have released a surveillance video showing a group of teenagers damaging a Walgreens pharmacy, and this happened on the 4th of July. And as you see, these black people just ran into this Walgreens store, and look what they're doing. No morals, no character, hate white people, hate themselves, hate God, and just literally no good people. And they are being raised by no good parents. Look at there. This is why I don't want these kind of people taking control of the government, because they would turn America into this. Look at them. They black. No shame. And you don't hear Black Lives Matter or anyone protesting. You don't hear any of the black so-called leadership, the black preachers, the black politicians, the black nothing condemning this. Nothing. All quiet. The video was released Tuesday, and it shows some member of the group throwing items at a store employee. Police said the employee suffered injuries. The captain of the Philadelphia Police Department told reporters after the incident that a cashier attempted to intervene, and he was hit in the head with a glass bottle. These are black people, folks. And you're afraid to tell them the truth?
Followed by the Holy Trinity.
I'm in a town where we have a lot of people who are refugees who have come, some from Somalia, some from Bosnia. I've never heard one of them say that America's a terrible place or be unappreciative of our country. Most of them are thankful. I've met people who have come here from behind the Iron Curtain that got away from communism. They're some of the best Americans we have because they really appreciate how great our country is. And then I hear Representative Omar say, oh, America's a terrible place. I thought there'd be justice, and there's no justice here. And it's like, well, she came here, and we fed her, we clothed her, she got welfare, she got school, she got health care, and then lo and behold, she has the honor of actually winning a seat in Congress, and she says we're a terrible country. I think that's about as ungrateful as you can get. And so while I'm not saying we forcibly send her anywhere, I'm willing to contribute to buy her a ticket to go visit Somalia. And I think she could look and maybe learn a little bit about the disaster that is Somalia, that has no capitalism, has no God-given rights guaranteed in a constitution, and has about 7 different tribes that have been fighting each other for the last 40 years. And then maybe after she's visited Somalia for a while, she might come back and appreciate America more.
Listen, give you an example. Say you have you have to get up on the wall, high ceiling, vault the ceiling. Hey, listen, just walk right up. And I tell you, it's very safe, it's durable, and it's lightweight.
You're scaring me.
So really, see,
Wow.
now it's locked in place, okay? So really, you say,
Oh, God, Harold, are you okay?
actually, I didn't have it locked.
Doing this, just look at there. Men and boys and girls, men and women along together. Pants sagging, low lives. And if you call it what it is, they want to get mad at you for pointing out what's really happening. But this is where the black preachers, the black politicians, the liberal white Democratic Party, and the liberal media, they all want black people like this.
Stop crying, man. That's not real nigga shit.
I'm not a real nigga.
That's not.